Hello and good evening. Once again, I want to thank you for welcoming me into your presence on your phone, on your computer, on your TV, wherever it is that you look at your YouTube videos. And I want you to know, as you know, my channel and my videos are not fake. We don't have no elaborate productions. It's a simple production. It's a real production. It's me speaking to you, and you know who I am, and I don't have to fake it. I don't have to put a lot of makeup on. I don't have to put nails on, and so on. But once again, my name is Peter Lander. I do go by Pope Peter Emmanuel the First. And one of the things I want to reassure everyone is that at my age, at my time in this life, I have realized that there's no need for you to die in peace, to die in your bed. You must not go silently into the night. And I've decided that I'm not going to go silently into the night. I'm going to face all the challenges that I have been given, and that I'm going to be victorious against the enemies of God who are the enemies of man. As you can see, I'm wearing a shirt here with Tupac Shakur. Tupac Shakur was named after a revolutionary indigenous Indian leader who fought the conquistadores and the Spanish conquerors who came to suppress them and to destroy them and to commit acts of genocide against them and to take their land and their property. Today and tonight I'm doing this video, and it's going to be one of the more serious things that I've ever done and will ever do. And it is to expose and to make conscious the consumers of the United States of America. Because you see, this is a very beautiful country, a very great country with lots of opportunities. But it's built on a criminal enterprise of capitalism. And the top 1% of the 1% are there on the backs of ordinary working people like you and I. So I've decided to do a series because everybody is bluffed into thinking that buying a house, home ownership, is called the American dream. But I've had many dreams. And one thing I know that I've woken up from a dream and realized it was a dream, and it's so real, it's so, what my friend used to say, it's so surreal, or it's so, I forgot the word they use. I'm not that educated. But there's a word they use for it when you have a dream, because it feels so real. Maybe it will come to me later in the presentation. So what happens is, I was there in 2000 during the George W. Bush era, when the smartest people in our society created the mortgage-backed securities and sold houses to people who never was able to pay their rent on their apartments on time. And they took those mortgages and they securitized it and they sold it. And AIG, American General, was one of the biggest insurance companies that backed those mortgage securities. And it is also the biggest insurance company that holds the retirement accounts of most working Americans and teachers and nurses in the United States of America. So if AIG had fallen, a lot of people wouldn't get their retirement check. So under George Bush, And under Barack Obama, they had to give them what they call a bailout. So you and I, when our checking account goes negative, we get a NSF and we get a low balance charge. But when rich people go negative, the US government recapitalized them. So they recapitalized AIG, they recapitalized the banks, they recapitalized everybody who made the bad deal and lost their money. It was called the biggest short. And short means if you had bet against mortgage backed securities, you would have won. Now, what has happened since 2009? What has happened till 2008? I meet people today who don't have a job and they're living in a bigger house than mine and they boast about their house. There are a whole bunch of young people now are just rushing to buy a house because they've been brainwashed and lied to and told that owning a house, and you see, a house is not a home unless you have a family. I have a home. I raise a family. We have very important memories in this edifice from which I'm speaking to you, and I like to speak from my bedroom. No different from, say, what was that guy who owned Playboy? Hugh Hefner. So this is not about sex. This is about the reality and economics. And what most people don't know, housing is one of the most important things in the US economy that is always being manipulated and bubbles being created and then it busts. So between 2008 and 2009 and between now, the housing bubble has been recreated. I remember meeting a woman tell me she owned a house and how much she owed on it, what her mortgage was and what the value was and what her loan was, and she didn't have a job. So I knew that the con was back again. And what a lot of people don't know is that even if you put down earnest money or deposit, you should always drink at home and always drink in your bed, okay? So if you get drunk, you can just go to sleep. Do not drink and drive, and do not drive and drink. So what I'm starting is a big fundamental series to show you how the system bluffs us, how the builders, you buy directly from a builder, they lie to you. The house doesn't have all what they told you they would put in it, and if they do, they make mistakes because most of the houses are built by undocumented, unskilled, untrained illegal immigrants. They don't give you a user manual for the house, and we do need a user manual for the house because when you pass that house on to somebody else, they should have a user manual for the house. They should have a user manual for the house. Most of you out there, a year ago during Valentine's Day, there was a severe winter storm that came through the Southwest, and a whole lot of people suffered billions of dollars of damages to their homes or to their house because a simple thing like knowing where to shut off the main control of the water coming into the house. Because once you see that water is in your roof, it's piped through. They have fire burning in your attic. They have gas in your attic. This is like 18th century design. And when there is a disaster, the average person didn't know where to go and shut off the water. So when the water broke in the house, it continued to flow. and because of the extreme low temperature, it continued to freeze, and it caused considerable damage in the billions of dollars. And who's going to pay for it? Me and you, because the insurance company is going to raise the rates. And in some cases, the insurance company might say they're not liable because it was not a sudden. Well, in most cases, it was a sudden burst of water. So I've decided to make a series of videos. And the main title to it is called House is a Thing. House is a Thing. Because you see, most people do not understand what is involved in house ownership or in home ownership. Very basic things you don't know. And many of us become victim to so-called contractors, independent contractors, even from the person who clean your chimney, who clean your vents. So there's so many things associated with the house because the house itself, okay, the house itself is a how you call that? There's people that talk about it when they're talking about the internet, and it's what is it again? It's oh, help me with the word I'm looking for. It's not an ecological environment. It's well, it's something that have a lot of systems in it, and I want to guide you through from the very first time you buy the house when you sign that contract. Why maybe sometimes you should walk away. You see, after 2008, 2009, and Obama and them, they made money so cheap, interest rates went to zero. You see, I was there in the 80s. I was there during Reagan. I was there during the first George Bush. And I was there when interest rates was 12%. When you could get a CD that paid 12%. And when interest rates dropped, the banks actually called in these CDs because why would they pay you 12% when interest rates at 3 and 4%? So they called it in, and they can do that. And if you tell people that invest in CDs that they don't understand it because they think CDs you cannot lose money, but yes, you can. So now a lot of people rush in to buy a house and they think if you have a house, you have wealth. And that's not true. Because a house, there's a movie called, what is it called? Money, what is it? Money something. You got to look it up. This will buy an old house, money pit, money pit. And all it did was just suck their money. A house can suck your money. A house can turn you into bankruptcy. A house can ruin your credit. A house can ruin your future if you do not do it right. And too many people think now that the whole emphasis is to rush out and buy a house and that it equates wealth. And I'm telling you, it does not. A house is not an investment. An investment is something that you can buy and sell and make a profit. If you have to live in that house, you cannot live in it and sell it at the same time. So even though it appreciates in value, you have to sell it, go live in an apartment, or figure out where you're going to go. So you cannot look at it as an investment. It's for your comfort, your enjoyment. Okay? So there's a whole lot of things associated with that. And so I'm going to explain that to you in a series of videos. The other thing we're going to talk about is when you buy a house, you buy into a subdivision. They say they have an association or what you call it. I even forget because in ours when you have three people and for 25 years the same three people rotating, three white people have controlled this community. They call it the ACS or the ACCRS or the The builder authors it, he hands it over to the homeowners, and for some reason, if you go around the communities here in Plano, Texas, in Frisco, Texas, you'll see all the houses, they all look alike. They're all painted white, and you have to ask yourself, why are all the houses white? Is there a subtle message in that? And I have come to conclude that there is a subtle message in the insistence that only white is acceptable. So people paint white. They don't even go to the architectural. I don't even know if an architectural committee exists because I've never seen them sign up on one of the papers that I've sent them. So we have to question that. So now you have to, if you're an immigrant like myself, maybe you come from India, maybe you come from Pakistan, maybe you come from the Caribbean. There are some subtle things you need to know about living in these suburban communities that the builder don't tell you, that nobody tell you, and there's no book to learn about it. But I, Peter Emmanuel, Pope Peter Emmanuel, the only Jewish rabbi from the Caribbean, and at the same time a voodoo practitioner, I'm going to take my time. I'm going to start from the outside of the house, the yard, the fence. And it is so complicated, I need to write it down to know that I can give it to you in chronological order so you can understand all the factors that you're going to face when you have home ownership. Okay? And you're going to appreciate it because no one else have told you. Okay? And when you start to realize and understand the responsibilities and the challenges and the fact that you never, in the United States of America, you never own your home, you never own your house, because you have to keep paying property tax even if you don't have children in public schools. Why are you responsible to pay for the education of these children? Whoever said that there's supposed to be schools that we pay for? That was not how American and the United States society was set up. Who came up with that? And then the HOA, Homeowners Association, where they have a few egotistical people who want to be in everybody's business and to control people, want to come and impose arbitrary fines on you and sue you to try to take your house from you because they have a racket between the HOA, the management company, and the legal firm that represents the HOA and the management company. These are all the things that I'm going to reveal to you and you're going to learn in this series called House is a Thing. House is a Thing. And I'm so excited because I think this is going to be one of my greatest productions and my greatest work. And it's going to add value to your life and to your understanding. And you're going to realize that sometimes buying a house can be the biggest mistake that you can make in this life. And people say to me, well, Peter, you own a house, you just don't want me to have a house. That's not true. I'd love for you to have a house. As a matter of fact, I'd like you, when you buy your house, to just pay cash for it. Because that 30-year mortgage and amortization is the biggest fraud, legal fraud ever committed against us. And the United States government is part and parcel of this corruption because they back the loan, they guarantee it. So the banks and the executive of the banks, they're always taken care of. But we now, as ordinary people, we now, as let me cover my beautiful legs. I don't want you to keep looking at my legs. You might get some ideas. But I want you to know, follow me on YouTube, look at my series of programs. They're going to be very interesting. I'm going to show you all the intricacies of a house, how it has to be managed, all the threats that you face, starting first with the HOA, then with the city, then with the school district and the taxing places. And to let you know, no matter what, you can be as successful as you want. If you fall sick, you become disabled. If you don't have money, if you don't have money, you're fucked. You're intercourse. You're sodomized without foreplay and without lubrication. Because no matter what, in these United States of America, unless you're in some rural area, you own your land and you're unincorporated, even there, I don't know what they do to you because they still want to tax your farmland. Who came up with this plan? I don't know. But I want to tell you one thing. You see this guy, Tupac? He says, I'm troublesome. I'm troublesome. I, Peter Emmanuel I, have always been troublesome. And as I have come up in age, and as I am approaching the final curtain, it is more important right now than ever that I am not going out in silence. I will not go silently into the night. That's why I want to educate you, to let you know. Do not be a sucker. Do not be a victim. When you go to close, you don't have to show up for the closing. The brokers, they all want to get their commission. The builder want to get it off of the inventory so they can pay off the builder loan. They don't even have a title to the property. When you go to close, you don't have title. Title is made after you close. It's called after acquired title. But if I came to sell you something and told you I didn't have title, you'd say, oh, you don't want it. But you out there buying it from builders, treacherous people, and you don't question it. So this is going to be a very educational video. It's going to be like a guide to how to manage your home, how to look after your home, how to secure your house, how to fix things, how to not get taken over by air conditioned people, electrician people, plumbers, and all that who always come to con you when you need to get something. And that's why I know that you're going to be so appreciative of this series of videos that you're going to follow me on YouTube. You're going to thank me and you're going to be very loyal to this leadership that I have come to produce and to provide to you because we have been living. It has taken me 25 goddamn years, 25 years of home ownership to see the lie that has been perpetuated against me and has been perpetuated against us. I want you to know that I bless you. God bless you. I look forward to you following me on YouTube and to looking at these videos called House is a Thing. House is a Thing. It's a challenge. Have a wonderful evening and thank you once again Thank you always for inviting me on your phone, whether you're sitting on the toilet watching it, whether you're driving in your car, whether you're at home, whether you're on your computer. I'm always appreciative. I'm very appreciative and thankful for your audience. And thank you for granting me an audience. May the Lord be with you, and my peace I give unto you. And I ask you to look forward. I already have a series of videos. You're going to see them, but there's going to be a chronological other set of videos that I'm going to present to you to show you how complicated this home ownership thing is. And you better have what? Money! Money. Without money, your ass is grass. And you will be chopped like with a lawnmower. So you better have money if you want to own a house or you want to create a home. I bless you in my capacity as the rabbi, in my capacity as the voodoo priest. See you soon on the next video.